Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Suleiman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant, breaker of the seven seals. Welcome. Brothers and sisters, we have a few things to talk about today. I have a few things I'd like to talk to you about today. Continuation of my series, Deep Dark Secrets. Well, when you're ignorant, almost everything is a secret to you because you don't know. That's it. You're in the dark. So the whole world is a secret. Everything is a secret. The scriptures are a secret. When the scriptures talk about being blind, I don't think many people understand what that means. But then again, that's part of being blind. Because 99% of the world, 99.99% of the world is blind. Oh man, there's technology. So blind people can do things. A lot of things a blind person can do without eyes. And if the whole planet had no eyes, they would think what they was doing was, the sound and everything. That was it. That's marvelous, man. Marvelous wonders, sound wonders. And then someone comes along with eyes, and it's a whole different ball game because they can master all the blind people. Because they can see all the blind people, but the blind people cannot see them. They do things that blind people cannot comprehend. And if they don't reveal that they have eyes, the blind people will never even know they're there. Never even know they're being controlled. You're made blind. And you're being controlled through your ignorance. And many of you like it. You think that's what all it is. And you walk around with people that's telling you that they have this special power, insight, or they can see because they speak to God. And they know what this means, that means, with no proof whatsoever. And many of you buy it. Your whole life is based on things like that. You sacrifice your whole life, your children, your parents, everything, based on some concept someone told you that they cannot be proven. Look at all those people that's following Farrakhan, and nothing he says can be proven. Absolutely nothing. That proves they're blind, and we know he's blind. He produces nothing. He gives them nothing. He just gives them an illusion that he can see. He doesn't teach any mathematics, none whatsoever. Ask him what a derivative is. Ask him what a vector is. Ask him what a differential equation is. I guarantee you, he would not be able to answer you. He would pull something out of his ass and call it honey. But I guarantee he will not be able to answer you. Like I said, you made deaf, dumb, and blind. And the few people that I have given eyes to can see you clearly. There's no doubt in their mind. It's like they can see you clearly. Clearly. 20/20 vision. And you around here feeling them, oh man, you just like me. I got arms, you got legs, you got, right? See? But they can see you and you cannot see them. And we're trying to give you eyes. You're going to have eyes in a minute. I'm going to talk about another thing too, and then we'll move in situations, presentation, determination. Life is, some people call it trials. Now, Farrakhan tells us a lot of was made to face trials. That's bullshit. The devils were. They never do Q&A because they'll be destroyed by anyone who has the intelligence. Because we was made to face trials, that means we'll face trials all our lives, and what trials are there in paradise? Your idea of paradise is not something where you're going to face the trials. I mean, that's, right? It's just opposed to the whole idea of paradise. Paradise trial, trials anymore. Now, beauty, paradise, smooth roads. Oh, you was made to walk rough. You was made to walk down rocky roads. Oh, really? Then why you promise me a smooth road if you made me walk down properly? That's my whole existence. You see what I'm saying? Everything they say you can just tear apart and you just rip it apart. Was not made to face trials. The devils were. Our open enemy was made to face trials, not us. See? But we do face trials amongst them. That's the Holocaust. Now, some people call it trials. I like to call it puzzles. Because it's something you got to figure out. You run into a situation, right? And now you got to get through it. Otherwise, it's not, if you're walking, if you're going down a highway and it's nice weather and there's no speed bumps and no potholes or anything else, right? What's the problem? But if you start seeing speed bumps and signs and things, right, now you got things you got to figure out. Otherwise, you just go with it. See? And so we face them every day. We've faced them for the last 5 years every day. Super trials, super puzzles, very complex puzzles. Very complex puzzles. Just to get through every day. And see, that's one of the paths to wisdom. That's one of the reasons why we turn to diamonds. That's one of the paths to wisdom. Because every time you face a trial, there's only a couple of ways you can handle that. A handful. Well, listen, you can try to figure that trial out. Because if you solve it, then you can move on. If you can't solve it, then you can't go any further. Right? That's the end of the road for you. Because like door, you got to solve it and go to the next day. That's what happens. Every day you face a trial to get you to the next day. Or you can cheat. Right? Lie and cheat your way through the trial. Well, you didn't gain anything. Or you can ask someone else to solve the problem for you. So you got two crutches. Someone else is solving the problem for you to get to the next day. Or you lie and you steal your way through it. Okay? So either way, it didn't profit you, or you can solve it. Those are only things you can do to get to the next day. Otherwise, you don't make it. You're through. You finish. You can't go any further. Okay. Now, if you get to the point where you just can't go any further and you lie and steal, you wouldn't ask somebody to get through. I mean, we can understand you want to keep on going, so you do whatever you can. But there's no wisdom in that. And you're not going much further anyway. You may get a few more yards down the road. That's it. See? Because you lie and steal your way out after a while, right? See? Everybody see, right? You're crooked. So that ability to lie and steal your way out of it gets weaker and weaker all the time. After a while, you won't be able to do that anymore. Because what you identified as that's what you're doing, you won't be able to get any further. And we'll talk about that in another context in a minute. Or you can ask someone else. Now, after a while, you run out of someone else's because they had their own problem to solve. So you're back where you started. You can't go any further. and you didn't profit anything. You just got, somehow you was able to get a few more yards down the road. You would have gotten, that's about it. Or you can solve it. And when you solve it, that's a road, that's one of the paths to wisdom. Solve it. Because every time you solve it, that gives you the information you need. So next time you run into another puzzle, because these puzzles get more and more complex. Okay? Oh, they get more and more complex. Now, you'll be faced with puzzles all your life. I wouldn't call those, once we get out of here, call them trials anymore. I call, you see, because remember, I keep telling you, pressure, who has a greater pressure has a greater power. And they force all lower pressure to submit to them. That's why God can cause everyone to submit to him, because he had high pressure. That's because he said, you got to submit to me. I'm the God. No. His high pressure forces you to submit. And I said, every knee will bow, every tongue confess, because he got great. They can't resist it. Lower pressure cannot resist high pressure. There's no way it can do it. It can't do it. And that's how you achieve higher pressure. Wisdom. See, that's true wisdom. Higher pressure. More complex. Could do more complex muscles, more complex puzzles. Okay. And that's why the 144,000 and Suleiman, right, was able to break the seven. See, it's just come out of context. Break the seven seals, because they've been solving puzzles all through the Holocaust, and more complex, and that's the last puzzle, the most complex one, into paradise. They're ready. See, my brother says, you can't play games, you can't fool anybody. If you've been lying, stealing your way through it, you can't lie and steal your way through the angel. And you can't get anybody to help you. Because that's the last puzzle. And if you've been solving puzzles all around the line, then now your mind is strong enough to solve that one. And that's the key into paradise. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. See? Because along the way, you had a lot of sellouts. See? Oh, man, I ain't going to this no more, man. No, who's told to submit? I ain't submitting. I'm going to tell Master what's going on, man. See? Hey, Masters. No, Master, give me a little piece of bread, extra piece of bread, right? Maybe I want to eat shillings this week. In the background, at night I sneak out. Here, boy. Here, boy, just what's going on? Oh, Master, you doing? See? Lying is stealing his way through the Holocaust. And now they're blind today. They can't see anything. They don't know anything's going on. See? Because now they're identified, and then you got the ones that, when people help them, they can't get through it either. Because they got to figure they can't. Because they was told submit. See, you can't fool anybody. Because if you'd done that, right? See? You got stronger, your mind got stronger and stronger. And then now your mind's strong enough to solve that last puzzle you need to solve to get into paradise. Because we see people that lie and steal all the time. Well, who was they hurting? Hurting themselves. See? That's it. Because that's what they're doing. Why are they lying and stealing? They're trying to get something that they wouldn't normally have. They're trying to get something that they're not capable of. They're not capable of getting, they don't have the ability to get. That same thing is stealing, ain't it? Taking something more than you're supposed to have. When I know I'm going to say I wasn't going to speak on that today, but I'm going to speak to it. Hold on, brothers. I don't know if I should speak on this because it's going to take a little bit. I don't know if I should speak on this, brothers and sisters. Because I've been putting this off for quite a while. I think it needs to be said. I need a special presentation for it, but I've been really had a lot of issues lately. And I really wanted to, take my time to deal with this. And but I'm going to deal with it, and I'm going to get a short version. See, when you empower someone, empower means you give them power. But you really can't do that. I can't give you power. See, I can nourish you and show you how to turn your energy into power. I can't give you power. Like, give you energy. I can't really give you energy. I can give you quality. I can't really give you energy. See, you say, oh, no, you can't do that. Because everybody gets the same amount of energy. If I give you, right, and you take it, right, it's going to just convert to another form. In other words, everybody's got $1,000. They get $1,000 a day, so I give you 200 of mine. So now you got 1,200, but you don't have 1,200. Or you got 1,000 because you got 2,000 units of bad luck. So the net value, you only got 1,000. So he's doing fine. Now you got this 200. Now you got $200 doctor bill or whatever. So you really don't have 1,000. And me, I still have 1,000 because now I gave you 200. I got 800, but I got 20 units of good energy comes to where I meet somebody that's just a positive or whatever, or healing or something. How do you think about Jesus heal people? You should know how to manage their energy. Because most of your ailments are energy mismanagement. Almost all your ailments are energy mismanagement. I know that's how you live. That's positive. But 90% of ailments are not because you're eating, it's because you mismanage your energy. I don't know if anybody understood that by now. You mismanage your energy. Energy deprivation. Nothing because did anything for us doing energy deprivation, no matter eating, will change our situation. Nothing. It's your mismanaged energy. That's how you heal. Because I've had people even 3 years. They come around and they get healed by damn time, but they can't hold on. For a short period of time, something's out. What can I tell you? Anyway, you empower someone. Now, I'm going to go through some excuse for a short version, brothers and sisters. I don't know if y'all saw the movie 300 or Spartacus or whatever. This is the long version. Anyway, I got to give you context. Well, that's a true story. It was the Greeks from Sparta. They had two major cities, Sparta and Athens. And the Spartans, it was like, SEAL team people. Green Beret Special Forces, right? And the Athenians, they was like intellectuals, right? But there was both Greek cities, two major Greek cities, like maybe LA and New York. And the Spartans, when they had a war, they was the ones out front. And they was like military from birth to death. And the mothers was hardcore. The women would go out and fight. It was hardcore. See? Because they would tell their sons, because their sons would spend all day out there, practicing, fighting, all that stuff, their father's sword, kind of stuff, right? And when war come, they off to war. And they would tell their sons, only way you return back here is with your on your sword or carrying your sword. On your shield or carrying your shield. Meaning, if you ain't got that shield with you, you ran or whatever, right? You gave up, When you show up back here, when you come back dead or victorious. Period. That's the most you tell them. And she meant it. The females meant it. And that's what the boys knew. See? And so, they went up against the Persians, what was the female army today. They was actually dark people. I think the last movie they showed, it was dark. But it was actually black people like us during that time. And they went up against them, 300. They was able to defeat them, like 10-1 or whatever. Because their mothers, right, supported what their father was doing 100%. And then let the fathers raise the son. Now, I'm not sure how to react to daughters. So what I'm getting at is you need two parents. Now, I only grew up with one parent, so I only know one side of it. And it's a handicap to me for us. Doing female, that's what we're compensating. Because my other parents, when I was 9 years old, and I spent 5 years with my father, it was, woo. Talking about Special Forces SEAL time, SEAL, Navy SEAls. They ain't nothing on me. What's that movie? I'm King Kong, was that Denzel? I ain't got nothing on me. I'm telling you, it was tough. I'm 9 years old going for 5 years. I was like, wow. He was old school. Okay. And back then anyway, back in the 50s and 40s, it was pretty much somewhat like that because the men usually control the household. And usually ran their house. They usually mostly responsible for raise, the sons anyway. So the black sons back there was a little more strong than they are right now. They still had massive fear and all that kind of stuff, right? But it's not like you see it going on here right now. So when so-called civil rights thing come along, right, that thing went on, that scared white folks. Especially Nation of Islam and then somebody like Malcolm X, sure, that scared the hell out of them. So they went on a plan, right? And this is not something they only did with us. They've done this in other places of history. They went on steroids with us. The British did that in Scotland before you saw the movie Braveheart and stuff. They went on steroids with us because they know that the female cannot raise the male by herself. She got to support the male that's doing it. And it's very difficult for her. It's almost impossible. So they empowered the women. First, they convinced of feminism that, we should oppress. Yeah, they was oppressing, wasn't us. But they bought into it. Right? Because black family was very stable back then. In the 40s and 50s, black very stable. Even though it was under master's rule, they were very stable. So you have some stuff, right? But pretty much you voice that kind of stuff. I mean, very seldom heard that kind of stuff. Anyway. So he convinced them, this feminist, all that kind of stuff, you're using the enemy, all the males. And then they empowered the women, getting power over. Now, no other country in the world, except America, gives females the power over their children that America does. And it doesn't affect white folks like it affects us. Now, that's another story, I'm not going to it. See? Because there are ways to get around that. But us, we're a target. They ran the man out. And jail and everything else, 3-strike order. Mother there, put on welfare, so she's totally dependent upon the state. And children totally dependent on her. She got control. If something goes right, they get the judge gives children to the parents, to the mother. They need more files in the house. Well, your whole system is designed to keep files out of the house. See, it's so hypocritical. Man, that's what's wrong with black people, man. They don't have files in the house. No, they don't, because you made sure that didn't happen. And so, I'm giving you a short version. I'm cutting the chase here. So now you get drag queens all over the place. Why? Because what's drag queen? Somebody trying to act like a woman. Well, what else example he got? What other example he got? That clown walking around the street with his pants hanging off his ass? The mom? She went around with no clothes on? What example does he have? Martin Lawrence on TV and JJ clowns. What other image does he have? And then why are they acting like that? And then they get them in jail, they come out, not like they went in, what's all broken and everything else. What are the examples they have? They do it purposely because they make sure these males are weak so they can control them, so they have no trouble with them. Because they know, especially black males, they're afraid to death of original black males. Because to us, you see how they sound? We sound like a lion to them. You don't understand that. That's why these cops shoot you 20, 30, 40 times. They scare you. You know, when I was in the military in Vietnam, right? You know, I had this little thing, you call fragging. And you had like junior officers come over, right? Out of OCS, Officer Academy School and West Point and stuff, right? Young white boys. Everybody, attention! About these! Let's go talk! What the fuck is that? And here you are, man. You 82nd Airborne, man. You've been out there in battle all your life, man. You hardcore. Taking out elephants and girls. He goes, hey, attention! You better bring that arms. He's dead. He is stone cold dead. That's why I tell you they didn't live very long when they went to Vietnam. Because they're fragging. We're fragging, we'll take a grenade when nobody's looking. Throw up at their tip. Whoop, that's into them. That's what they say. They have to teach them the sound, even when they go into the police academy. They have to teach them the sound with authority, because they don't do it normally. They sound like females. And they don't get your attention. Somebody, hey, pull over. Pull over? You're doing this. Really? See, you don't know that the power. See, original. You know original person, original man. Even the original female, she has more natural threat in the voice than they do. But you sound like a lion to them. It causes their hearts to quiver. You don't understand that. They're not going to tell you that. They never will tell you that. I'm telling you. Deep, dark secrets. When you sound, especially, you got that very deep voice, it puts fear in the heart. The heart actually really shake. That's why a lot of them do it straight out of hate, but most of it do it out of stone cold fear. Stone cold fear. And so everything they can turn you into, see, drag queen, everything else. Get that man inside of you. They're afraid of it. Even Napoleon told them, when it says, everybody's for it, but watch out when the black man fights. So we fought, all nations fought, went down. Because from his point of view, so watch out when they go to war. It's just your features itself. Doesn't mean your nose off the speaks, because your features, you got features like a lion. And they got features like a little eagle. Not even that. An eagle, he might be thinking bad, he ain't gonna F around with no lion. That's where they experience you. And so they empower our females, and they don't realize it, and they see, that's the irony of it. Because they saved our nation, now they're destroying our nation. They're doing it purposely. And I'm not going to hold it against them because I know what's going on. But it's hurt our nation. Because you look at the result. If you talk to any guy out there, if you're an original person, you talk to any guy out there talking about their son, and talk about their son, and tell me that their son is exactly like your son. Tell me, I talk to me, that sounds like my son. Now is it the water? I didn't grow up like that. So another thing about empowering them to get that power they're supposed to have, that's inviting violence. Then you get the mess confused. Because when you have power that doesn't belong to you, that's again negative energy. So now you invite negativity, right? Negative power. negative violence. Because there's nothing that will provoke a man like messing with his seed. And she don't tell him, you don't tell me what to do with your son. Oh, man, ooh. And the real man go through him like a lightning bolt. And she don't, and she thinks she got control. She's cut by the police. No, they go. By the time they get there, the damage is already done. I ain't advocating that. I ain't saying go out there and be no sisters. I'm telling you again, you got a problem with me. I'm just telling you how they deal with it. I tell you how they deal with electricity, all these things. That's another lesson, one another. I'm telling you all the secrets. Empower women. They invite all these things happen. And the bottom line is, it weakens our next generation of males who they know at some point they're going to have to deal with. You think they can deal with these out here in the street there? You think they can do anything? Have them in jail for child support. Once they get in jail, they turn into something else. Sam into Sally, Samantha, drag queen. You think our nation is ready to go to war? We at war. Because they gave her power that she shouldn't have. They empowered her. Oh, you can do this. No, that's not. That's fake power they're giving you, and is inviting negative power because they give you power you don't supposed to have. Because the seat belongs to the male. Every nation recognizes that. That's one of the reasons why they give a female the male signature name when they marry. Because the seed, right, has been protected. And the seed comes from the male. Like I said, this ain't the first time it's been done. They do it a lot of nations, but they went to steroids with us. So I thought I'd point out, brother, so I get a short version. But all this stuff that happened in the 60s started empowering them. And they walk around with all this power that they don't have. It's fake power, it's illusion. And they can't sell all the negativity that's coming to them, all these directions, because they carry something around they're supposed to have. Okay? And brothers, you just have to show restraint, because you're going to be beating on them. But it's hard, because if they're destroying your seed, right? If they're destroying you. They're destroying your seed, they're destroying you. So how can you stand by and not say anything? See what happened? See? That means your ass going to be in jail. If you try to protect your seed, you live in jail. That's the whole idea. And you're in jail, and then who's going to be following? Your seed, right behind you. That's the whole idea behind it. It's a lot more, but sister, I'm going to leave it there. So let's move on. See, this mathematics, not the shit Farrakhan talking about. See? That's mathematics. He's not teaching mathematics, he don't know any mathematics. So we're not teaching it. Islam is mathematics, Islam. But yeah, he's not teaching mathematics, so he's not teaching Islam. See? So briefly, I'm going to go through this. I said I would do a redux because I want to cover a couple of things out. You know, like I said, this is all, right now, the reason I'm going over the same, because this really days away. See it? Jewish symbols? Google, Farrakhan says his father's a Jew. It come right up the link. I don't know, maybe if you have an iPhone, it might not. He says in the interview, his father's a white Portuguese Jew. His grandparents was father's side of white Portuguese Jews, and his father's also. That makes him a Jew. Period. A blackface one. because his mother was raped by his Jewish father. That's why it says Satan casting out Satan. It said the son of perdition will be after the works of Satan. He's an imposter. He's legion. Louis Eugene Grounds, NOI backwards. He's an imposter. He's Aaron. He's a liar. He's Aaron. He's a liar. Imposter, demon. What a demon is. Half devil, half man. David said he'd be an imposter. If he said on Elijah's seat, see? And that's why Suleiman had to cast him out. So he's being cast out now. He said, who the Lord will consume with the spirit of his mouth and destroy with the power, with the powers coming. So he's being destroyed because he's a liar. He's not teaching Elijah Muhammad's teachings. And that's one of the things I'm going to say as I'm going to move on, brothers and sisters. This is simple stuff. Anybody that's for real, the demons, they have to be with him. They have no choice. Everybody knows right here, it don't take 5 minutes to find out he's a liar. All you got to do is go check what he says against what Elijah Muhammad says. There's no connection. All you got to do is check what he says against what Master Muhammad said, and there's certainly no connection whatsoever. There's none of those lessons that back up anything that liar says. He goes against opposite everything. He don't save devils. No, it ain't devils anymore. Elijah Muhammad get that special information that white folks know devils anymore. But he tell Western ministers, right? Just told him. But the other ministers, they can still call them devils? But if he couldn't, that's the way it works. And if he only told him he's a special one, how come he just stand up and take control when Elijah Muhammad left? No, he looked over and there was doing. And he acted. Right? Because he's still bent over now. While he's still doing it to him, he might be doing it in spirit. He's still doing it to him because he's still teaching Wallace's teaching. So you got to check Wallace's teachings and find out he's teaching Wallace's teachings. As soon as that Wallace, but that's what he's teaching. He's not teaching Elijah Muhammad's teachings. No way, no form, no fashion. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. Oh boy. Oh, there you go. See, that's his father. See the resemblance? That's his father right there. Can you make that up? Father's the devil. He's a light-skinned Jamaican. No. Anyway, that would be his nationality, not ethnicity. That's father right there. Perfect clock. Check him out. He's Caucasian. Makes him a devil, a demon, half devil, half man. Okay, let's move on, brothers and sisters. I'll move this fairly quickly. I'm still trying to. I want to go and talk about. I've never talked about it in this particular way before. I call it demon diversion. Now I talk about this, it says in the Quran, it's momentous in the heavens and the earth, but it comes but of a sudden. Now as far as that means, he has no idea. He has no clue what that means whatsoever. Sunnis don't either. He has no clue. They don't know what it means. They put something like their ass to call it honey. They don't have no idea what that means. I've been telling you what that means all the time. So I'm going to give you a more detailed example today. I'm not sure if I'm going to detail I was expecting to go to because my voice is messed up again. I said I got all this congestion. I don't know what's going on here, right? They try to poison me again. Anyway, so I'm going to go through it, but more detail than ever before, but I'm not going to spend the time as I would plan on doing it. But as I said, energy, energy, universe expands, contracts, expands. All the energy that used to be here is out there now. The devils call it Big Bang, right? They said everything started out inside of Adam and the whole universe, right? Well, if you can believe that, then you shouldn't have any problem believing it started inside the earth. That's what the Quran says. Quran says the universe started basically inside the earth and we expanded it. Katie said it started inside of Adam. So, at any rate, I'll go to the Quran version. And so how you spare, because the energy that's here, put out there, so eventually all the energies out there, you have very little here. That was the 50,000 year energy deprivation we suffered. We had less energy to maintain ourselves. Now, so that's why I said momentum was in the heavens and earth, but coming above the So now the universe is contracting, so now the energy is coming back, but coming back in the form of waves approximately every 50 years. Come back in the form of waves approximately every 50 years. That's what I'm talking about. It's momentum in the heavens and earth, because it's momentum, the whole universe is contracting, right? Momentum is in the heavens and the earth, and it takes and absorbs. That's how we know we're the center of Earth, because that statement would not be true if Earth was not the center of the universe. That statement could not be true. Anybody knows anything about physics, mathematics, and waves, that statement could not be true unless the Earth was the center of the universe. So it comes back in form of waves probably every 50 years. Then it's absorbed by the Earth. The energy is absorbed by the Earth. Earth is a conversion. It converts energy to a form we can use. Air, oxygen, or nutrition, whatever. And then, right? And then we absorb it on a 24-hour basis until it's all used up. And then until the next wave comes. If we use all up before the next wave comes, then we go to this period, right? Self-energy deprivation during those period of times, like a drought. I'm not going into that kind of detail here, right? And that's why you got to be careful of population, because if the greater population, the more of you're going to use, the quicker you're going to use it. That means, say you use all up in 40 years, you got 10 years of drought. You got 10 years of drought. 10 years no water. Look at that there. Go back to, say it rains, right? Every year, every spring. Every spring it rains. March 21st it rains, right? It's the only time it rains. So you get all this water. So the animals got water every day to drink, right? And so, the more animals you got, the more they're going to drink. So say, for instance, the amount of animals you have and the amount of water you have, they got enough to drink to cover the whole year, and then they run out. Every March 20th, the next day they get rain, so no problem. But say the population doubles, so now they run out in December. Now they got January, February, 3 months of drought, no water or anything. You see, that's why you be careful of population. I keep telling you about this population bomb that India and China is using. I really talk about that in detail. That's their weapon, that population thing. So you understand it. So anyway, so then it produces, which would benefit. And our energy absorption rate is based on a 24-hour cycle. It's ours. It's the devil's is a little different. That's why you sleep, because you don't have enough energy to cover your whole 24-hour cycle. So you got enough energy to carry 16 hours, so you sleep about 8 hours. But we get home, right? And the next, I don't think this cycle, because we're already receiving a wave right now. We're in the process of receiving a wave right now. I don't think this wave is going to be enough. But the next wave, 50 years from now, should be enough, right? We won't have to sleep anymore. That's another story. That's what sleep is. You have enough energy to make the whole 24 hours. Anyway, so I'll put this okay. Okay, we got our first positive one. First positive wave, 1800s. So we started getting positive energy. Not enough to get us out of energy deprivation, but start rising. And that one, right, triggered certain things. Because we started getting energy, But remember, we was bound to change and everything at that time. So we have energy to break those chains. Because that's what's really holding chains, our minds, our ability, right, to control the energy around us. So now we have enough. So now we change things around us. This gets very deep, brothers and sisters. I'm going to a very high level here. I've been trying to get around it more deeper and deeper for the last few days and everything else. How our minds change reality. How all this civilization, everything, all this technology is coming from our minds. And I really want to get into that, but I'm not going to do it here. Probably tomorrow. I just focus all the time on that. Right? Once I get fully recovered here. So I'm called Demon Diversion 1800s, 1860s. Okay, positive energy. Now I say music is reflection of our nature, but our emotions. That's what music is a reflection of our emotions. And we know the world is moving according to our music. Our music is dominant music on the planet. Why is that? Because we're dominant people on the planet. That's why it says we leave our great wealth, because we have great wealth, but they control it. And they control our music. They got hold of hip-hop and they turn it into bitch, hole, nigga, and all that stuff, right? See, they control. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They controlling our stuff because we still lost. We amongst them. And they control. Yeah. They control that. Yeah, because you try to tell people to stay there with your lying ass. That's why. As long as they're going to control, they're dominant people, right? Anyway. So, I'm going to show you a pattern here. It's a simple pattern. I'm going to keep it simple. Okay. Look at this. Blues. That's what blues started in the 1860s. We got that energy wave. We had the blues. The blues started. Check it out. Everything I'm telling you, you can easily Google. We don't make up stuff here. Because we had the blues. Now, they say the free wasn't free. That's a lie. Right? See? Because they had industrial age. So they didn't need you on the farms anymore. But you're still here, ain't you? You're still obeying them, still do what they tell you to do, right? That was the beginning of the industrial age. So we had the blues because we had no place to go, we had no money, we had no knowledge, we had no education, we had nothing. We had the blues. They let us go and they would snatch us back up, throwing into gang, what do you call those, what do you call those things? What do you call it? I forgot what they call it. Chain gangs and stuff. You know, it was right. That's industrial age. And that's when they come in the combustion engine, electricity. Where does it come from? It didn't come from any other nation, just here. All the things innovation I'm telling you about is coming from here. It's not coming from any other nation. Why? Because it's coming from us. That's one of the deep, dark secrets. This is coming from us. That's one of the reasons why they don't want you to let you go. That's when they're not telling you anything. That's why they came with copy. They didn't used to have copyright and all that kind of stuff and patents. They did that so slave could not take control of his own creation. And our minds became stronger. So out of our, remember, all this stuff comes out of your minds. This came out of our minds, right? Because in the industrial age, we didn't use on the farm anymore. We broke this, we changed reality. Because we had the power to change reality, they didn't use on the farms anymore. They didn't do it to us. We forced them to do it. Because we changed reality. We changed reality in our minds, but they're not letting you know that. And you still think they're so smart, they come with all this stuff they know. Because if they are, how come the Germans ain't come with it? How come there's no innovation in Germany? How come there's no innovation in Russia? How come there's no innovation in France or China, any place else? They're all just copycats of what they get from here. Your mind is doing it. And so your mind came with, you're more energized now. Because that's why you're in change there, because you have enough energy, right? So they're controlling you, so they have less control, so you came with a reality that broke their control of you. They need you to do it anymore. So now in the industrial revolution, you're still a slave, right? Because now you're working in a plant, working on a railroad, You're still slave to them, just not in the field anymore because you broke it. Because now you got industrial age, electricity, combustion engine. And it's doing that work that they used to want you to do, force you to do. You understand? And your blues, the blues. You have the blues. You know what to do. No matter anything, you have the blues. That's where it came from. Check it out. Check the pattern I'm telling you. I know you know these things. Farrakhan didn't know them. Size know them. Nobody knows before I told you. And everything I tell you, go double check everything. Let's go to the next one, brothers and sisters. Remember, that's 1860. 50 years later, right? Oh no, let's finish this. Let's do it. But we was plagued with demons, and we still are. Two mindsets. That's what I call it demon diversion. Because the two mindsets, one wanted to be a master, and one would get the hell out of here. And that was the first evidence of it when so-called free. Because when it was in the fields, the demons, that's who master's children are, black-faced children, they was either preachers, they was in the master's house, or there was those rats that was running around among us saying it wasn't one of us. It was going back telling master everything we was doing. Give a person a background. See? So once the chains were broken, they wanted to stay with master. They stayed sharecropping. They stayed sharecropping, stayed down on the farm. With master, they want to stay with master. They love master. That's their daddies. There's a house where they want to stay with him. And the original people, they got the hell out of here. They ran to the cities, got far away from master they could. Ran to the cities. First, demon diversion. First, clear signs of it. Two ideas. Okay? Sharecroppers, one's ran to the cities to get the hell away from master. They really wasn't getting away from him. But, you know, the idea, then what? 50 years later, another energy wave. What effect did that have? Okay. Another revolution. Aerodynamics age. Whole new technology. Why comes out in this trick of time every 50 years? Right? Cars, airplanes, automobile airplanes, aerodynamic age. Out of nowhere. You couldn't see this back in the 1860s. It was like, keep that in mind. You couldn't have imagined this back in the 1860s. All of a sudden, bam, this came out of nowhere. Cars, planes, like, nobody could imagine that 20 years earlier. It was everybody's not a car. You know, this is like magic. And jazz, the new music. Is that a coincidence? All of a sudden, we start feeling jazzy. Right? See, why? I'm going to tell you in a minute. Okay? So jazz. The jazz came out. Rhythm and blues never do jazzy now. Right? Okay, let's look at it. Let's look what it means. Boy, this... okay. Because we had people come in, start talking about African stuff. We had no idea about that kind of stuff before. We had no idea about knowledge of stuff, anything. Until people like Marcus Garvey came along, Noble Ali, Master Muhammad, everything. But I'm going to focus on Marcus Garvey here. Because he was a prominent figure at that time that most well known. Right? But you have Frederick Douglass over there, Eurocentric, which is more like the white man. Learn from him. See, walk, talk like him, learn language. See? Demon diversion. Two ideas getting further and further apart. You see? What happened to Marcus Garvey? They had to put him in jail. They had some charges. They put him in jail in Britain. He died in jail. Died in prison in Britain. Had to get rid of him. See? Two ideas. Eurocentric, Afrocentric. Marcus Garvey is preaching Afrocentric. Frederick Douglass, Eurocentric. Think more like Europeans, more like NASA. See? And that gave us jazzy. See, you go think more like, hey man, we know about black history and black people, and we used to be kings, Egypt, and all that kind of stuff. Started to feel jazzy then. Right? We had the blues no more. It's starting to feel jazzy. See? Start learning more a little about yourself. Got Master from Muhammad teaching, give you some knowledge of self. And Elijah Muhammad. See, start getting jazzy. This ain't no coincidence, bro. So go and check this timeline out. You ever heard this before? Anybody? Let's go 50 years longer, 50 years more in the future. See? 1960, that's 50 years, another 50 years, right? That's 100 years from 1860s, right? What happened there? Unknown technology all over. Different from it. The agricultural age, industrial age, 50 years later to what I call the what I said industrial, it's the aerodynamics, cars and planes that you could imagine 50 years earlier. And then then all of a sudden computer and satellites. I mean, when Rush was spending, got that shot to it. What is that? You got some out in space? There's a shock to the world. 50 years later, whole new technology. Satellites, computers, and then a new sound, Motown sound. Is this coincidence, brothers and sisters? No. More than jazzy now. I'm saying loud. I'm black and I'm proud. Say it loud. Everybody getting flows. You got James Brown, he got a flow, right? He flows and stuff. James Brown got a flow. Everybody flows and things, right? Hey, say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. See what I'm saying? Motown sound. Pre-age, pre-satellites, space age, whole new age. Even then, you couldn't imagine what's going on right now. What's going on, you couldn't imagine that then, you couldn't, right? At that point, see, you couldn't imagine it. What came out of that? See? We're still in that right now. Because what came out of that? It's like what came out of cars and stuff. By the time we got here, right, cars, by the time we got here, man, cars were like, we ain't fake cars, that stuff anymore. Electricity, cars, all kinds of stuff, right? You see what I'm saying? And now we benefit from this. But we brought this in. Remember, I'm trying to show you who is driving the music. Who is driving the music that's dominating the world? We were. And we're also driving all other stuff too. Come from us. Music. Well, just forgive me, please. I ain't taking any medication. I ain't on crack or anything. It's just, I'm still. Anyway, I guess my verse. I'm trying to talk too fast. I got so much to say, brothers and sisters. So my voice slurs sometimes, not because I'm 73 years old, because I keep telling myself, slow down, talk slower. And I keep saying it, and then I go about 2 or 3 minutes before and that's when I know 5 minutes, 10 minutes later, I went through 1 billion words in half a second. You see what I'm saying? Look at this up, brothers and sisters. More time. Now, why am I saying this? Because now we 50 years into the future at a time for the next change. See, but before we do that, let's see what the result of that was. See, we got a cold thing. Remember demon diversion? What happened to that period of time? Demon diversion, right? Now it gets worse. We want separation. Elijah Muhammad, people like Malcolm X stuff that was supposed to be supporting him. Separation, you got two major conflicts and integration. You got the two sitting right together, two icons of both sitting together. Just before, days before Martin Luther King got his head blown off because he's not told about the promised land. He went to teach it, told him don't teach it. They killed him next day. Two icons. Demon diversion. Original demon. We want to stay with Master. When being with Master, when close to the Master, right? When live with Master, that's what happened. So he got close to the Master. Each level got closer to the Master because of integration. Now they could marry him. They could live next door to him. They could live right in with him. Now you can work with him and everything else. See? While the other side said, well, you want to get the hell away from here. Now what side is Farrakhan on? What side is Farrakhan on? Ask yourself, follow this process and tell me what side Farrakhan is on. Follow this process, I told you, use some logic and tell me what side Farrakhan is on. Tell me what side Farrakhan is on. Tell me spell this dumb ass. Because he's a lying dog. He's a demon. And you can't follow his logic without seeing who the hell he is. Even if you can't, and she's too damn stupid to realize that his father's devil, he got to be a devil. She tried to get around, I don't know, God, it don't matter because your parents didn't make you, God made you, really. Then what you need Dr. Yakub for? See? That's what they're trying to come up. Say, well, that doesn't matter if my father's way because God made us. Because he's trying to get around it. And some of you buy it, the demon's going to buy it. Follow this path. So what side is he on? I show you the path. What side is he on? Share Christ, what's still with Master? Reparations, we're in 6 states, right next to Master. We'll bring devils in the line. We're going to serve devils. We don't call them devils no more. What side is he on? Is he on separation side or integration side? What side is he on? Okay, here we got to now. What does that mean? With the process of 50 years later, that pattern holds, right? It has, so far, I showed you 3 situations. That pattern is perfect by all time. So what's about to happen right now? A new music. What kind of music? A liberation music. But we just ain't black and proud anymore. We got our own nation. We free. We sovereign. We got our own land. We're away from here. We tell you to separate from these devils. We're no longer plagued by them. A new music. See? A new creation. A new technology. That you can't imagine right now, just like you couldn't imagine the computers and satellite technology prior to the 1950s, 1960s. You had no idea of anything like that. So you could imagine the combustion engine, electricity, 20 years before that. You had no magic. So you can imagine, that's why it says, no heart, I forget how I'm paraphrasing, if no mind or heart, anything could conceive of what's about to happen to you. Be changed a twinkle of an eye. All things were made new. I said all things, I said some things, electricity, everything, it's all been made new. All things. We say all things. I mean all things. There's something. All things. So new technology is going to change everything. Everything. And new music. The music will reflect our emotions again. But now we're going to be really free and powerful. So what kind of music is that going to be? And it's about to break loose, brothers and sisters. Let's go on to a little further here. There's Farrakhan. Right, see how he want to get rid of her? He says his best friend right there, devil. See? Reparations. That if they want, we're independence. That means to reflect what we want, not what they want. Blues reflect what we want. Jazz reflect what we want. Our emotions. See, because they can play our music and stuff, But it's ours. They take and copy our music because they don't have our nature. They got just a little bit of it, but it ain't in their nature because it's from their moms. So they can copy it, but they can't invent it. They can't really express like we can. That's one of the dangers. See? But they can hear it. The devil dads can hear it. That's why they say, white man can't dance. They can dance. The problem is they don't hear the vibrations you hear. They don't hear the frequency you hear. They dance at the frequency they hear. So it fits what they're doing. But it's odd to us because say, man, because you hear all these frequencies and they're not matching your frequency as you're hearing, but they're matching the frequency they're hearing. See? Because you remember when they had banjo and they jumped around like on a horse and all that kind of stuff, right? I'm going to get my horse and buggy. Yeah, I'm going to do some tuggy. You know, and that was, man, and that was down with them. Because that's what was hearing that. That fit. And we looked at it and said, man, because that's the frequency they hear. Like, you know, dog whistle, dog hear frequency you don't hear. They don't hear what we hear. They dance to what they hear. And see, it's out of tune with us. It's out of step with us. It's not out of step with them. That's what like Michael Jackson, because they could fake it. Well, that photography stuff, what do they call it? Right? Because they could fake it like robots. Everybody's doing it. That's why like Chubby Jackson. I don't know if you heard of Chubby Chase. No, Chubby Jackson was. The guy came out with the twist. Oh, white folks loved him. Everybody was doing the twist. Because you had to hear the vibration, anything. Just twist. Come on, let's twist. Oh, let's twist. And everybody was doing it. That was popular. Because that's why everybody could do that. And you know, you see him out sing. And so that's what Michael Jackson gave him. He was a demon. Well, he could act like a robot. That's cool. Okay. I'm going to talk. I can't dance myself. You understand what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? So they dance on the level they hear. They can't hear what we hear. They can't produce the music we hear. Because look at the music they was playing. That little banjo. See? They haven't come to a new type of music. They play country western stuff. Even that. They copy from Chuck Jackson, all these type of people. Even Elvis admitted he copied from one of those guys. You understand? So this was about half grown sisters. Now, why am I saying this? Because that gets to the heart of what I'm trying to tell you about, sisters. It's a terrorist nation here. You understand that all this comes from us. This will not come from them, it'll come from us. They give you a hint in Exodus. It says, Pharaoh got mad and told him they got to make bricks, but we won't give no hay anymore to do it. He said, well, how are you going to make bricks? Like say, you know, when you can make a cake, but you better not use no dough and you better use no sugar. How are you going to do that? You can't do it. But they was doing it. You got to understand scriptures. What the story is trying to tell you is he forced them to use creativity. He was left their creativity. So no, use your creativity. We're left your creativity. They know our creativity. They want you to know that. And that's one of the reasons why we had to get out of here. That's why Master Muhammad is going to make his move, get us out of here, because the only reason why they're as powerful as they are, because they control our technology, our inventions, our ideas. We're creative, we're spatial, we are the creators. Don't you get it? I mean, sometimes I say, don't people get it? I say, well, I'm putting information out there. I see it, you know, and they can't make the connections. Like I said, but they don't see, so I have to come out and say it like, right? Like algebra, right? You say, well, 2 plus 3 plus x equals 7, right? Well, then x must equal 2. But you know, algebra, you got to tell the person, man, well, x got to equal 2. Well, they got to figure it out. They don't want to figure it out. So what you tell them? And I've been telling them, so we creators. That means we creators by nature. This is our creativity living off of. We're the ones bringing this in. That's why you'll see any place else any other place in the world, and especially European countries. There's no innovation only from here. They claim it's called diversity, right? Called us. When it is, they came over after computers and stuff was developed. The ideas. China afterwards, they copy it. You know, sort of hidden figures? Why they got hidden figures? Those sisters, they weren't educated as the devils, right? Yet, they was running circles around them. And I was surprised they would get a little peak. Because much more to it than that. I knew about that. Much more to it than that. Because they created those sisters without actually putting them in space. Because they were trying to compete against the Sputnik, so-called space race. These are sisters. They were talking about the brothers. They'll never put a movie like that and move brothers. They show brothers in that capacity ever. I was surprised they even showed about the sisters. You didn't get the message there? They depend on sisters to do it. And educated white folks, and they couldn't figure it out. These sisters run circles around them, because that's what we're doing, our creativity. And that's why we got to get out here, because this new creativity is coming. It was something that you've never seen before, never heard before. You can't imagine it right now. As the Bible says, you can't imagine it. If you change the twinkle of an eye, so there's no heart or mind ever can conceive of what's about to happen to you. And if they get hands on that, that's why it says in the scriptures, it says, the tree of life, remember they ate the tree of knowledge of good, but it says, get the tree of life out of it. That's the that. Get them out of there. That's the ones that Master Farmer takes out of here. So get them out of there. Because they get hold of that, and they'll live forever. They'll be like us and live forever. Because they get hold of this technology that we're about to come with, they will be as powerful as us, and they will live forever. They will love to get their hands on the will that Master Farmer has. They love to get their hands on that technology. This time they're bringing this technology to that level. We say be, it is. With the creators, Master Farmer represents the analytical side of it, the technical side, and we're the spatial side. We come with the blueprints. He brings this. That's why I say, be and it is. It's two sides of it. Be and it is. We say be, he brings it into existence. He's a super technician. He got a super will, nobody technical will, a technical marvel. But Suleiman shows you that we're a spatial marvel because he was able to deal with a book that's so complicated, so spatial, so that no one could touch it but him. And then following him, the 144,000. That's the proof that we're the creators, we're top line spatial, and Master Muhammad and his people are top line technical. And now you're talking about how technical the Shia or Iran is over there. You can't put this stuff together, brothers and sisters. That's why they got here. So if they get hold of that, the tree of life, that's us. Anybody have any story based on Angel Key, I've been giving you know who that is. That's the one Master Muhammad snatched out here. So they get hold of that, right? They'll live forever. Because this technology, if they get a hands on this technology, they don't even know what it is. They have no idea. But it'll be something way beyond what they have right now, way beyond computers, way beyond, right, what they think they have right now. They think it's so great. TV, it's so great. And this will be, just think about it. What they have right now, 50s, nobody could imagine stuff in the 50s. Cell phones, video games, computers, laptops, robots, nobody could imagine that. Also, like, where's it came out of? Nowhere. Most of you think this like make all the time. They didn't have cell phones in the 1990s, you know that? Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Something about to happen. I've been telling you about it for years. Now I'm trying to be more detailed. I tell you, I'm going to give more details to go along. That's why you got to get out here. To get your hands on that, then you will see a war end. Take your hands on that. That's why we got to get out here before it happens. That's why Master Muhammad has to. He's bound to get the hell out. He's going to do it. We understand, brothers and sisters. Deep dark secrets, brothers and sisters. See what they've done with it. Got their hands on this technology they have right now. Okay, I think I'll move quickly through this, brothers and sisters. Let's see. Break the power of their power. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So I'm going to break the cross. Okay, I'm going to tell you this briefly. This is foundation's reality, because Industrial Revolution, so we actually wanted them to have the Industrial Revolution because to control it, because we had second idea in mind. We get all that oil out of the earth, because there was get too much oil in the earth. The oil is based on decayed matter or decayed organic matter, right? When animals and plant life and whatever die, right? And planet Earth, eventually it converts into oil. And so what you got billions and billions of years. And so it's accumulated, and now it's all. And the point is, you also have all our oceans and rivers, underground rivers and things, right? That's a source of what? Drinkable water. Now, so much oil in the ground right now that it's starting to come in contact with the fresh water springs and everything underground, which will pollute them, which will destroy. Because that's what we don't get our fresh water from the oceans; we get it from there, primarily. That's no story to get. Anyway, this whole industrial thing, right? This industrial revolution thing they came with, that we can't with, gave to them, was 150 years ago, 1860s, right? It's totally dependent upon oil. Totally dependent upon oil, 100%. Now you see the world right now, but you understand what's going on, but I'm really going to keep it short. You see right where all this conflict about oil. Why no? Because they're telling you, listen between lines. Everybody knows about oil. What if oil is cut off? Which is a possibility. Because it's being cut off in various places. Europe is about to go on the oil fair. Europe is in an oil, what I call it, crisis. They have oil shortage. America's suffering it. That oil price is going up. And they're in conflict. Why? Because it's the main oil producers, right? Like Russia, they're in conflict with them and they're cutting it off. And so forth. So you really got an oil war going on right now. You don't understand. You got oil war going on right now. But oil is the basis whole reality. So if the oil cuts off, the whole reality comes to a screeching halt. Oh, then bam, it stocks up. And the repercussion of that is famine, universal famine, right? Not just famine of food, but famine of anything, of any resource that you need. Because everything you get right now in this society is tied to fuel one way or the other. They got to drive the food to you. They got forklifts to put in the warehouse. They got a tractor to get the food out of the farm, right? So if you have you can't do those things anymore, and they can't get the food to you. And if they can't, if they have no oil, if they have a little bit of oil, then they can get it to you, but it's going to be so expensive you're not going to be able to afford it. An egg might cost you $1,000. You think that's ridiculous? No. What if they say they were throwing their gold and silver in the streets? Why would they throw their gold and silver in the streets if an egg is not costing $1,000, $10,000, $100,000? Because they can't afford it. So the gold is worthless. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's maximum inflation when the money just ain't worth it anymore. That's what happened in Europe. That's what caused Hitler to rise, because inflation got so bad that it was costing like $1 million for a loaf of bread. They had to pay people 3 or 4 times a day. They would actually would go to the store with wheelbarrows. Because if they went to work in the morning, by noon, the price went up. Like, hey, it might cost $1,000 in the morning, it might cost $5,000 in the afternoon, right? So they would make them pay 3 times a day. And at the end of the day, so they get that's what, check it out and take my word for it. And it was actually going in wheelbarrows. They call it marks over there. Mark, when I was over there, I was stationed when I was in the military. A mark at that point was like a mark was equal to a quarter. Like take 1 million marks to buy a loaf of bread. And that's how Hitler came to power. I think what Zimbabwe got to the point where like $1 million for a loaf of bread or something, money was just totally worthless. That's about to happen here. Because in the oil war, they ain't telling you like that. You know, World War III, nuclear war. Believe me, if they have a oil war, they have an oil war, and they lose that, you'll be happy with the nuclear war back. Because just take you out of it right away. The scripture tell you, you'd be better off with a nuclear war. Just take you out. Because you'll be starved to death otherwise. If they lose this oil war, they're losing it. They're begging and sort of way, so they say, I'm not going along with you. So now Biden's getting rid of his strategic petroleum reserves, trying to keep price. You're in an oil war right now. You don't understand it. And we're losing. America losing. They lose. That means famine comes to America like that. You can't afford the gas. If there's any gas oil, and then America's going to be in a war. I'll talk about it in a minute. And if there's a war, that means it'll confiscate all the oil that is available. That means no oil, no food. Bam. Case closed. And what would America look like if there's no food on the table for more than a day, for more than a week? What would it look like? What do you look like? We look like coming out of the oven on all fours with stick up your ass and an apple in your mouth. What do you look like? Because that's what's going to happen to you. The scriptures tell you exactly what's going to happen to you if you're still here. Listen to Farrakhan. Doesn't happen to all the demons. They all could be eaten. They don't go to war. The 5-month demon war called Logos War. Anyway, I'm pointing out, brother, sister, right now, and it's all centered around the Middle East. Because that's where the main source of oil was coming from there. The main source of oil is coming. That's what's going to break the pride of their power. Because the main source of oil, America was getting from there. And by that, they was guaranteeing, and that's the second part over there on the left-hand side, they was guaranteeing House of control of Arabia. They was guaranteed control for a price. That means who had control? Europeans really had control. They really had control. Like they had control of the oil. They had control of the holy sites, Mecca and the whole thing. Because how Saudi depended upon America, right, to protect them. Protect them from who? Maintain their control of that region. That means they just put America, maintain control. That means America really had control. They got control of oil, they got control of Mecca. That's why they rose into heaven. But when they rose into heaven, right, Suleiman was still the angel, because they moved into the thought zone, the atmosphere, and he was the angel to kick their ass. He's been battling with them on the thoughts since 1990. When he broke the seals in 1990, same time they moved into the Middle East. He was right there to do battle with him. Been battle with him for 9 years. He's winning since 1990. And then the third part is, it false Israel over there pretending us. See, Jew come from Judah, which is the top tribe, 12 tribes. The top tribe was one that's supposed to stay faithful. The 11 tribes fell away. Those supposed to be the Europeans. That's the story they're telling you. But that means whether they fell away or not, they're all God's chosen people. That means they're superior. So they got control of the whole thing. Heaven, resources, the position, the idea, the whole nine, you got control of all of it. That's the source of their power. That's the basis of their power. See? And that's what Max Roman's glory break that war, break out in heaven. Michael's angels go against the dragon's angels, and dragon's angels, they defeated, kicked out. That's basic pride of their power. Whole thing come crumbling down. Now you have a total oil, now America's sanctioned, they could be sanctioned, right? America's will be sanctioned. They were sanctioning everybody else, right? Now they're going to be sanctioned because they're going to be isolated seas. All other countries are going to be isolating them, right? Sanctioning them. They won't be getting anything from China or any place else. That's coming too. But the thing is, oil's gone. America's not going to be able to produce their oil fast enough. You got starvation here on a level you can't even imagine, right? They got that, right? They have no control of the image anymore. That they was, because now we're true to Abraham over here. You understand? Because now if they're not, we must be. Because they took them down. Because they're not supposed to happen. So far as Israel gone, America's not in control of the Middle East anymore. And control that oil is gone. And control of that. And control of Pakistan, Palestine, that kind of stuff. Because now, far as Israel gone. So the whole image is gone. The fact that probably true to Abraham is gone. It means we truly are. I'm not over there, bro, so I can go more detail. Like I went more, or I should go more, but I'm not. Hope you understand, bro. Says that's what's about to happen. He's about to break all that up. That's gonna mess up there. First, they're gonna be starving. Then they'll be spiritually totally broken, because now they know they're devils. I don't care what Farrakhan's, they're devils, and God's coming to destroy them. So they're spiritually broken, economically broken, right? And also militarily broken, because they don't have control, right, of the land over there anymore, the power. See, because they kicked out. The military power is broken, economic power is broken, and spiritual power is broken. The military power is broken, the economic power is broken, and spiritual power is broken. So he breaks the pride of it, and Master Farmer's getting ready to do that. Okay, let's move on, brothers and sisters. A few more days. Oops. Oh boy. Ah, there you go. I'm gonna talk about this for a minute, and I'm really going much further than I expected to. Oh man. Okay. I was. Oh, but since there's so much to talk about, I'll try. Anyway, I'm going to this mirror image. This is very important. I'm going to keep it short. Mirror image. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is because I'm going to go through this rather quickly because I've talked about this previously. One of the most profound tricks they got against you, and that's what Farrakhan is using, because he got you to think that you evil, you're sinful. That's what Aaron said. They're sinful people. Farrakhan's saying, no, he's reading this thing backwards. When you go and read those things, I'm gonna move fast through this, right? Consequence, you have perfect consequence, which means eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. And you got general consequence, where 5 equals 2 plus 3. So you take somebody's eye out and you spend 5 years in jail. Right? 2 to 3 years in jail, right? Whatever. So you don't pay a direct price, you pay an indirect price. Or 2 for 2, so you have perfect balance and you have general balance, right? Or perfect justice or general justice. It's still balance, and just right. This one is total reflection, right? That's what I'm showing here. So that's the trick using the scripture, because what happens is that they took us into captivity, took us to the Holocaust, and from there we're going to the Promised Land. Let me just show that. See here? I'm cutting the chase here, brothers and sisters. Right? So, with the Bible, with this captivity, then we suffered Holocaust, 5 years, and go to the Promised Land. Now the consequence, that consequence will be the opposite, right? See? There'll be somebody in that Promised Land. They would go to the Holocaust and then go into captivity. That's the consequence. That's the opposite. It's a reflection of the other one. But you get the two confused. Now what they do is they go and they tell you the opposite. They tell you that we're the evil ones. In other words, we're suffering the consequence of our evil deeds. They're trying to tell you. That's what Farrakhan's tell you. All this happened to us because we were wicked, we get punished. That's why it doesn't tell you about the reward part. When Abraham comes, just read that part and read the report part, because he don't read the reward part, Ishmael, none of them, because you don't get reward for being punished. So he said, no, we're punished. That reward don't apply to us. See? That's why I do that. Because they're trying to convince you that you don't have a reward. You're evil, you sinful people. That's not what Muhammad taught. That was not what Master Muhammad taught. No way, no climate, no way. I was there. But when you read it carefully, now read the stuff carefully. Now the one in Jeremiah is one I should have put it here, but I didn't. It talks about how they're going to suffer, the women will be ravaged, the children are going to be beaten and killed, and all the things made eating all kinds of filth. It's all that evil is going to come to them. Right? But it says it happened to them in their promised land, and then they go into captivity. You see? Farrakhan's telling you that belongs to us. That's us. No, read it carefully. They were in their land, promised land, they sinned, and they was punished and then driven into captivity. Ours had just the opposite. We was taken into captivity, then we suffered Holocaust, and then we had a promised land coming to us. See? That's the one that refers to us. When the other stuff that Farrakhan trying to say refer to you, that's referring to them, the one that did those things to us, and now they're about to suffer Holocaust here in America, in their promised land. They call us their promised land, and then they'll be driven into captivity. That's the trick, brothers and sisters. They play a mirror game, you know, what do you call it, magical mirrors or whatever. They're a mirror game with you. And that's what Farrakhan is doing, trying to convince you you're sinful and everything else. Read it carefully. That refers to them as what he did to us. They're going to suffer Holocaust here, what he did to us, and it's going to be compressed into 1 year, 5 years. That's why I says time unprecedented trouble, because all that 5 years, they did to us going to be compressed in 1 year, like it says in chapter 18. All are going to be compressed in 1 day, 1 year. Read it carefully. See? We're already in captivity. How would we be driven in captivity? We're already in captivity. We understand, brothers and sisters? Okay. I'm not going to drill any more on that. Oh, boy. Okay. Trying to use this curse. Okay, this will close out, brothers. Now, I think I got this right this time. I'm talking about here, this where we are in time, basically. You got, I'm not going to explain how these nations connect with this, right? I've talked about this previous presentation. But in this case here, right, we got America and Britain and false Israel in heaven. They're at top. They push Syria and Iran. They're in secondary who has power controlling the Middle East? America, Britain, and false Israel. Right? And you got Syria and Iran, they pushed up against them. Okay, that's what this reflects here, right? Okay, let's move on. And see here, I just suppress the image of our nation. So now what you have here, if you those who understand, the dragon represents the house of Sod. That's the dragon. So now you got the dragon and you got his angels, America, Britain, and false Israel. Right there. Okay, do you see that? It says Michael's angels go against the dragon and his angels. I'm trying to define. See, Farrakhan don't know who they are. They claim, Farrakhan claimed he and Elijah as the two witnesses. He put shit out of his ass and called it honey. And people, he covered himself with the honey of Elijah. See, that's what it is. He covered himself with Elijah. That's the honey. And people suck on the honey. Eventually get to the shit because he's a shit under the honey. And now people start tasting shit and realize, right, that he's full of shit. Right? He's been feeding them shit all the time. Calling it honey. Anyway, so that's what it is. That's what dragons and angels are. Now watch this. You see, I did the same thing here. Now hold on. Now I got this right this time. If it don't go right this time, I'm gonna give up. See, now you got Michael, his angels Shia, Syria, and Iran. And watch this carefully. Watch this carefully. I'm always afraid to press the button, bro, since I've done 3 days in a row. 3 days to shock me. Got it, finally. Now they're at war. Michael and his angels, right, against the dragon and its angels. That's what it's talking about. Now they're at war. That's what's about to take place. Now they're at war. Michael and his angels, which is the Shia and Iran, against the dragon's angels, right? House of Assad, America, Britain, and false Israel. They're in collision. They're at war. And this is the result of the war. Michael's angels, they prevail. They kick America, Britain, and false Israel out of heaven. Not in heaven anymore. When I say broke your pride and power, broken. Get it? What's the result of that? They kicked out. Falls Israel under siege. We see Jerusalem surrounded by armies. No, it's destruction, not redemption. They kicked out, oh, Jesus will save the last man. That's not what it says. It says the destruction is near. They're going to be destroyed. That means that's totally breaking their power, because now they've been telling everybody they're true to Abraham. They're tribe of Judah. Those say Jews are not, but synagogues say, now it finds that if we truly are, but where are we? We're in America. Now, those you have understand the angel, in that position, that's the mouth position where America is. That means we're in their mouth. See? That's right. When that happens, there is, because no food, this time of famine, there's no food, and we're going to be on the menu. That's why escape. It said, flee. When you see the Babylon's desolation, we see Jerusalem surrounded by armies. That's false Israel right there. We see it because at that point, they're going to be on siege, and they're going to be doing the exact same thing over there. Eating their own children, eating each other over there. We're going to see no food coming out, and that's it. Men's hearts be filled with fear of those things coming upon earth, because the powers of heaven be shaken. That's the powers. That means the power is broken, because who got power in the Middle East? America, Britain, false Israel, power is broken, and now they see what's happening there. False Israel under siege. They eat each other, everything else. There's progress all over the world. They have no control. Iran got those drones found there, the cameras showing everybody how they turn to beasts eating each other because of food. And then they finally destroy them. And they know that's coming here. And they already know, because famine is already, inflation is already hit through the roof. They said inflation will be so bad that a donkey's head was sell for a fortune. And bird doodle, dove doodle, dove shit would sell for a minor fortune. That's how desperate they're going to be. Inflation's going to be so bad. You understand? And so they're going to attack us. They're going to attack all blacks. All blacks, not just all blacks, the demons as well as the saints. They're saying, Adam, don't eat that tree of knowledge of good, evil. They're going to eat. They're going to try to. That's they're going to try to eat us. That's a big war. That's how us to flee. Because that's when everyone they catch, they're going to eat. Because there's no be no food. There's no be food anywhere. No food. Nowhere. What do you think it'll be like a week into it? A couple of days into it, to tell the truth. See? Now finally false Israel goes down. So now there's no hope. They realize they devils, God's coming for them. They didn't say false Israel. That's these evangelicals and all that kind of stuff. Oh, it's going to get, it's going to be something. Then what? It's a long version, right? Then what? That's when the winds blow. That's the African blacks. That's what we're on visa carrying. I'm not going into any detail about that, brothers and sisters. That's going to be a hailstorm, right? What happened? Oh, I didn't do it over here. Okay. And then what? Then the other 3 winds blow. Other 2 winds, that's 3 altogether, right? That's all the blacks are rising, almost. But the reason doing this way because all of them happen at the same time. That fourth wind is part of the three winds, but between the time that the third, second wind, and fourth wind, all these things happen because the fourth, all these things be happening. So the fourth wind hasn't blown yet, but remember, say all blow like in 2 or 3 day time. So that was the last part of it. So all that's going to happen while they're blowing. So I'm showing this way so you can show this part. Because finally, when they finish blowing, this will be happening. Finish blowing, that's the great army that comes out as a. And where's the army at? It's not here in America. It's over here because we've been removed. That's what Michael's, because Syria and Iran is not coming over here. We were removed. Now you're going to tribulation. And you got the so-called demon war, locust war. All that happened. That could last 5 months. They were trying to keep from being eaten. America be starving. So forth, so on. I already talked about it. That'd be happening. We out of here. Said, pray that you be found worthy, right? To be, be taken out of this. To be moved out of this. Be found worthy. Right? To be taken out of here. Mass Farmer delivers. That's why he's going to deliver. Then what? 5 months later, the demons are finally defeated and eaten. At that point, Gog and Magog, at the time they defeat it, that's when Gog and Magog will be on the West Coast, ready to invade, put America under siege. America's already starving to death. They're eating all blacks they find, all the food. It's too hungry. If they had all 34 million blacks, they would go to them like in a week. Because we had number 10 to 1. So you take 10 persons to one black person, they ain't gonna be electricity and gas, all that stuff during this time. Remember that. No refrigeration, that kind of stuff. So if they catch one black person, 10 people, how long do you think it would take them to eat that person? 10. Day, 2, 3 days, at the rate they eat anyway, and they're hungry, starving. That's what says they're eating, they're still gonna be hungry. Because all the blacks, if that's what they cook all of us, they ain't gonna catch them nowhere near that. So it might be like 50 people eating one person. Be found worthy to escape these things. That's what it was. I think that's what it said. Be found worthy to escape all these things. 140,000 will escape it. This Elijah's army won't escape. They got to go through tribulation. So now they embark. That's so-called flood. That's why I call it the flood, river and sea, right? They embark on the West Coast. I'm not going into details about that. And then they take out America and follow America. Europe is followed by America. That's the flood. That's in all that's on earth. Earth represents European countries. And so now, and Obama's going to be the one leading it. That's another story together, brothers and sisters. I'm moving on. I've already explained all that in other presentations. So what happens here? He's that horn that gets rid of, Obama's that horn that gets rid of, the little horn that gets rid of 3 other horns. So now he goes against China and India and defeats them, and he has control of all they have, their armies and everything else. That's what he's called Gog. See, you understand, Gog is sometimes referred to as a country, a nation, and sometimes referred to the ruler of that nation. These scriptures refer to him both ways. So in other words, Gog is America. And if you was the president of America, you was a Gog too. So Obama is a Gog. And so Gog is going to attack real Israel because he's going to have control of everything else. And he says he's going to look over there and see that they're home in safety with no walls around and at peace. That doesn't refer to false Israel. They never had peace one day since they've been there, and they got walls all around them. That's us return home to rule Israel, and then he attacks us because he got everything else. If he can just take us, that's it. And that's what happens. And about to close out, brother, so he attacks. And what's the result of the attack? There it is. Oops. Result of the attack. That's New Jerusalem, a new technology, change tweak of an eye. That's New Jerusalem, Farrakhan. Tell you, New Jerusalem is the wheel. We don't live on the wheel. What an asshole. That's what he is. Oh, you don't like that? Well, tell the people that's licking your ass, because I'm not. That's what you are. Apparently they like it. They licking it. Hope you understand, brother and sister. I'm going to leave it there. So I got it right this time. Right? So I'm going to keep talking about the same subject, different ways. I tell you some things there I didn't tell you before. It's really more and more, because that's where we are. We're right on the threshold of this. Any day now, while I'm talking, the war's going to break out in the Middle East. When it breaks out, breaks part of their power. America's going to immediately go to war in Europe. That's the war of Armageddon. First, the war in heaven. That triggers the war of Armageddon in Europe. War in heaven is the Middle East war. That triggers the war of heaven. That's the Middle East war, the war in heaven. It triggers the war in Europe. That's Armageddon, which triggers a flood. The locust war and the flood, which is China and India, the goat attacking the ram, which triggers the war of latter days, what I just told you about. That sequence of events, bro, says, hope you understand. I'm going to leave it there. Assalamu alaikum. Remember I told you about those puzzles? Study.